Hi, this is Brad Smith from BeerSmith.com, and I'm going to give you a short tutorial on scaling a recipe or changing its size. With BeerSmith, you can easily change the size of the recipe, and all the ingredients in the recipe will be scaled up or down to match the new size. The best way to scale a recipe is actually to use an equipment profile, as this will match the new equipment settings and losses that you have. If you download a recipe from the internet, for example, using the cloud search view, and you save a copy, you can also use this same feature to scale that to match your own equipment profile. So you can literally download a recipe off the cloud, search, save a copy of it locally, and scale it to your equipment, and then go out and brew it. We're going to start with this 10-gallon recipe for a dry stout. It's actually a little over 10 gallons, about 11 gallons. And we're going to scale it down to a 5-gallon size. So all I do is open the recipe, click on the Scale Recipe button here, and now I have the option of I can enter a new batch size, a new efficiency, and some of these other things. That's actually not the best way to do it. And the reason I say that is because if I just change the batch size, it's not going to really account for the change in scale, for example, for things like true loss and some of the other losses that are built into the equipment profile. That's why I strongly recommend that when you scale a recipe, you actually do it by just changing the equipment profile up here. So I'm starting with this Brew Easy 10-gallon setup. I'm going to switch over to a standard all-grain 5-gallon setup. So I'm just going to click on that particular equipment profile. I click OK. And now it's the batch size I'm shooting for is a 5-gallon, and you see the efficiency is a little bit lower, and there's my old numbers from the old setup. I'm going to check this box down here that says Match Original Gravity, Color, and Bitterness. In general, you want to do that because what it'll do is if there's changes, for example, in the hop utilization between the two systems, it'll compensate for that and adjust the hops up just a little bit to compensate. Same thing with the color, same thing with the original gravity. If I don't check this box, what happens is it's basically just going to scale everything proportionally. So it's just going to proportional to the batch size. It's going to scale all the ingredients, which may or may not match your original gravity and so on. So that's it. All I had to really do here is click an equipment profile that I want to go to, and click that box, and now I push OK, and everything's been scaled down. All the ingredients have been adjusted, the amounts have been adjusted down to my 5-gallon size. So I could literally take this recipe out and I could brew it. That's all I have to do. So it's very easy to scale a recipe down. The only caution I would add is when you do scale a recipe, if you're using water profile adjustments like I am here, you see I've got salts like calcium chloride and Epsom salt and so on. I would add that you may want to readjust your water profile here using the water profile tab if you happen to use that previously. And also you may want to play with I don't have any mash acid adjustments, but if I was adjusting my mash pH, these are both advanced features. I would probably readjust those after scaling the recipe. And the only reason is because typically the sparge volumes and the mash volumes are going to change if you're an all-grain brewer, and that means your water profile is going to change a little bit, even though it's properly scaling things up for you. So that's just an extra step you may want to consider. But the basic scaling of a recipe is very, very simple. You basically open the Scale Recipe dialog. You pick the equipment profile you want to go to, the destination one, and then you just push the OK button, and it'll scale everything for you, and you can go out and brew your recipe. So that's a quick overview on scaling a recipe in BeerSmith 3. For more videos, as well as recipes, discussion, articles, and the podcast, which I have, the BeerSmith podcast, and a trial version of BeerSmith 3, please visit my website at BeerSmith.com.